I'm a bad motherfucker.
Hey, guess what? Revealed, U.S. is collaborating with Chinese scientists to make bird flu strains more infectious and deadly as part of a $1 million project, despite fears similar tests unleashed COVID.
They're working again together after that last thing kind of got awkward?
Once it's kind of...
And then a steal.
They're doing it again. It's like somebody going, hey, maybe we could work with that Harvey Weinstein again. I know he did some really messed up stuff, but let's make some more movies. Once again, here we go, everybody. Now set your brain to zero.
Try to guess what animal they're going to fake that
like
someone was in
like you
contact
have
with.
it. I'm
Yeah.
Kurt.
Oh, I didn't know you're doing a bit.
Now,
it sounds like a conversation.
Okay. I'm mid-sentence, baby. Now set your brain to zero like you haven't learned anything from the past and look at that story with the eyes of an innocent child. America is doing this for all the right reasons, inventing weaponized viruses in China because they don't give a shit what happens if it gets out any more than our own government does. And of course, kids, get your decoder ring and let's see what they really mean by all this. Could it possibly be that they are preparing for the next wave of lockdowns and misery on the world? Or are we really gonna wake up? This is really happening.
That's through the eyes of a child? I said, what are those ghosts doing to the chicken man? That's how I...
The only thing that good that comes from this kind of stuff is big pharma's profits go up. The U.S. government is spending $1 million on American taxpayer money to fund experiments on dangerous bird flu viruses in collaboration with Chinese scientists. The research involves infecting ducks and geese with different strains of viruses to make them more infectious and study the virus's potential to jump into mammalian hosts.
I can't...
Should we be putting this money into something more practical, like creating a new Godzilla? Because that only attacks Japan.
We're going to need one for this. That's for sure. Godzilla versus bird flu?
Yeah. It is being funded through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So you mean the people who allow glyphosate to be sprayed on everything you eat?
So
they're the ones handling this? Isn't that fantastic? The responsible people over at the U.S. Department of Agriculture who are poisoning us with glyphosate. God. And their collaborating studies will take place at sites in Georgia, Beijing, and Edinburgh, Scotland. It comes despite similar research being restricted in 2022 and growing concerns that dubious Chinese studies may have started the COVID pandemic. May have.
This is why, do you see why I'm like,
May
I'm
have.
having outbursts? Because for 3 goddamn years, we all knew the thing. Even Jon Stewart, that pussy, could see it and say it.
He say it.
Oh, no, we're noticing. They're on to part 2 already.
So the White Coast Waste Project, they found this stuff out.
Yeah, that's what I'm mad about, the waste.
The papers show funding for an avian virus research began in April 2021, and it is slated to continue. They in the heart of COVID, they started this.
Jimmy, I'm a hair away from Turkish nephew and going, I'll say it, we deserve that. I'm a hair away from going full Turkish nephew right now.
The USDA told this website the project was applied for in 2019 and was approved in 2020. The specific viruses the research will work includes the H5NX, the H7N9, and the H9N2, the White Coast Waste Project reported. In 2023, study described H5NX viruses as highly pathogenic with the ability to cause neurological complications in humans.
Are the pangolins okay?
This is unbelievable. The H7N9 strain first infected humans and animals in China in March 2013, and the World Health Organization said it is a concern because most patients have become severely ill. The H9N2 strain has been found in doves, I guess, in China, and while it has a lower pathogenicity than the other strains, it can still infect humans.
Great.
So they're telling you not only that they're going to try and kill you, they're even explaining how they're going to kill you.
Yeah, dude.
Is this like a test to see how fucking stupid we are and how long we'll just sit there and take it?
Oh, well, I think you're seeing it. It is. It is that.
It is. The main collaborators on the project are the USDA Southeast Poultry Research Laboratory.
That's where the UFOs are.
The Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the University of Edinburgh's Rosalind Institute, a Wuhan lab partner.
So I just want to throw this out there to any smarty pants people that go, you know, I think all this government UFO stuff is just a distraction to keep us away from the real story. They do not need a distraction to keep you away from the real story, you moron. They don't need any. You won't look at it. You won't look at it until 3 years later. We will tepidly go, I don't know, maybe something's weird about this.
So the senior vice president from the White Coast Waste Project, it's hard to say. He said it's reckless and indefensible for bureaucrats to bankroll dangerous avian flu gain-of-function studies involving virus experimenters from the notorious Wuhan Animal Lab that likely caused the COVID and the CCP-run parent organization, the Chinese Academy of Sciences. You think
the Wuhan Soup Animal Lab?
Taxpayers shouldn't be forced to foot the bill for animal experiments with foreign. How about we ban it? How about not? It's not. I'm not upset who's funding it. I'm upset that it's happening.
Hey, my tax dollars go to much worse stuff, pal. Can you just not make the fucking super disease?
I know. Following the publication of the documents by the WCW, Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa wrote a letter Thursday to Tom Vilsack, the Secretary of the USDA, seeking more information about the department's ongoing funding of the research. The letter read, I was troubled to learn from the nonprofit group White Coast Waste Project that USDA is supporting experiments involving highly pathogenic avian influenza virus that pose a risk to both animals and to humans.
Were you?
Troubled?
Yeah.
Boy, if only we could find a way to harness the power of understatement, the energy crisis would be a thing of the past.
Get a Campbell video in this, and we're
understatement
about, greenhouse gases no more.
The understatement is crushing.
I think it might be a less than optimal paradigm that we keep going to China and making new crazy viruses and then pretending somebody ate bat soup.
They should know by now to suspect foul play.
Got him.
Those gosh darn journalists. When it comes to researchers who have ties to the dangerous Wuhan lab, and simply switching from bats to birds causes concern that they are creating more pathogens of pandemic potential. Here's my warning.
I feel a touch of concern in my esophagus.
A touch. The Biden administration should be walking on eggshells until they cut off every cent going to our adversaries. We cannot allow what happened in Wuhan to happen again.
Did he just, is that a real thing they just said? That? Can you believe we're working with our adversaries on secret deadly pathogens again? How does this keep happening? Because they're not our adversary, moron?
Can you believe we're sending all our manufacturing work to our adversaries in China?
Our arch balloon enemy, China?
Despite the senator's concerns, the USDA spokesperson told this website, it is common for international researchers to conduct independent research that's connected to the same end goal, and that the research does not it doesn't qualify as gain of function.
Oh, thank God, man! Don't get me like worked up like that.
Oh, you mean
Misha? It's okay. It doesn't qualify.
Doesn't qualify. Then don't worry. A USDA spokesman said it. The same guy who says glyphosate is good for you.
Yeah, well, I do. I mean, I didn't get enough of it today. I might be.
Boy, where could you find a USDA guy to lie for a corporation? It's harder to hire someone to help you with your luggage in Bangladesh.
Okay, the USDA, like, I just want to know, when everybody's doing all this and we do these stories, and your Chris Cuomos and everybody else and all my friends, and they all having to see these little things, when are you going to have your goddamn Kaiser Soze moment where you hold your coffee and you look at all the things on the board and realize the whole thing is wrong? It's not
all
like,
wrong.
Oh, well, hopefully after this election we'll get some of this cleaned up. It's the whole thing is worthless. The whole thing. Well, not worthless, very valuable viral research.
So the guy from the USDA said, anytime Senator Ernst has a question for the USDA about our research or our commitment to helping America's farmers mitigate animal diseases like highly pathogenic avian influenza,
stop fucking pangolins.
She should reach out to us directly, before putting misinformation in a press release or public letter. And despite the senator's assertions, this is not gain of...
What is it called? What's it called then?
You tell me what he won't,
around?
He won't tell...
It's just called...
it's gain of goofing. Because animal disease present a global threat, it is common for international researchers to conduct independent research that's connected to the same. But what Senator Ernst lays out in her letter is far off base from what's actually transpiring. And on top of that, it's based on approval decisions that predate this administration.
Like this, this reads like when I'm really hungry and they've screwed up my delivery and there's no one I can talk to, and I just have to click the thing like, well, this is not something in our policy, and there's like everything is that now is a goddamn automated response, like pretending to care about your concerns.
Yes.
Do you remember when RFK was on and that British guy, that imbecile in Britain who was on the reality show? He was in power at one point during lockdowns, and his leaked text messages came out, and he goes, "When do we deploy the new variant?" And we're talking about like, what do you make it? None of us made anything of it because it's so insane that he said that. It has to be a joke, right? And you said to RFK, like, what do you make of that? He goes, I don't even know what to make of that. RFK, a guy who knows what to make of that. And I believe him because I'm like, it couldn't possibly be. In fact, I said at the time, they wouldn't let this jerk off in on the plan of deploying the new variant, so it's got to be a joke. No, yeah, they would. Yeah, they would. He said it in the thing.
How many stories have we done? That's it?
Look, I know this is going to be in poor taste, but I will light myself on fire with another story like this. I feel I'm going to explode from the last 3 stories we just did. They're doing... Like,
Bill Gates is vaccinating animals.
That's a refresher. The thing of like, we're working with China to make up viruses again. And I'm like, and you know who's not going to cover that? Jon Stewart. He's not going to bring it up.
No.
Stewart.
Oh, he's done.
He's done with that. And we need is remembering Alexei Navalny, a Jon Stewart special.
Alexei Navalny.
Alexei Navalny. Say his name, Kurt. Alexei Navalny.
Oh, it sounds even better in that Irish world music accent he has. Alexei Navalny. It's not quite Irish. Not quite.
Oh, I have one more. So I go to Steph. I have another story.
All right, coming to
I have
Steph.
I have a fun one.
Things people love about you is they believe you tell it like it is.
Says it like it is. He speaks the truth.
It's about time we have a man like Trump in here. They ain't afraid to tell it like it is, man.
We like him. He tells it like it is.
He says what he means. I honestly believe he's telling the truth.
She has no natural talent to be president.
She's very talented, and she has a husband that I also like very much.
Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States.
Hillary Clinton, how did she do as Secretary of State? Probably above and beyond everybody else.
Let's say Hillary is president.
Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job, and I like her. I will build the wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it, and they'll be happy to pay for it.
I'm not going to pay for that fucking wall.
This guy used a filthy, disgusting word on television, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should apologize, okay?
Listen, you motherfuckers.
I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. We'll beat the shit out of them. Political bullshit.
You're not going to raise that fucking price, you understand?
Donald, true or false, you've said the government should pay for everyone's health care.
That's false.
You've never said that.
Everybody's got to be covered.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side.
He said I was in favor of Libya. I never discussed that subject. I was in favor of Libya. We would be so much better off if Gaddafi were in charge right now. Gaddafi in Libya is killing thousands of people. We should go in. We should stop this guy, which would be very easy and very quick. Stop him from doing it. and save these lives. They're here illegally. You take them, they have to go back.
We have to show some compassion.
You're right.
We just can't throw everybody out.
They have
So you're going to split up families.
Chuck,
You're going to deport children.
Chuck, no, we're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep them together out.
But they have to go.
How do you throw somebody out that's lived in this country for 20 years?
North Korea has nukes. Japan has a problem with that. I mean, they have a big problem with it. Maybe they would, in fact, be better off if they defend themselves from North Korea. Maybe we would be better off, including with nukes. Yes, including with nukes.
And they said, I want Japan to nuke. I want Japan to get nuclear weapons. Give me a break.
But if you say to Japan, yes, it's fine, you get nuclear weapons, South Korea, you as well, and Saudi Arabia says we want them too.
Can I be honest with you? It's going to happen anyway. So it's only a question of time. I'm a conservative person.
The Republicans are just too crazy right. I mean, just what's going on is just nuts.
Bush says, I do not believe he's a true conservative. These people are stupid.
Do you identify more as a Democrat or a Republican?
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
The economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans. I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy or white supremacists.
What do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now?
Well, you've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party. Wages too high. We're not going to be able to compete against the world. I hate to say it, but we have to leave it the way it is. I don't know how people make it on $7.25 an hour. I would like to see an increase of some magnitude.
Do you believe voters have a right to see your tax returns before they make a final decision?
I don't think they do.
If I decide to run for office, I'll produce my tax returns, absolutely.
There have been many presidents that have not shown their tax returns.
Actually, every single nominee since 1976 has released their tax
before
returns.
1976.
Nobody was worse to women or abused women more than Bill Clinton. Look at the trouble Bill Clinton got into with something that was totally unimportant.
She's married to a man who got impeached.
They tried to impeach him, which was nonsense.
He was impeached for lying.
I'm the only one on the stage that said we should not go into Iraq.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so. You know, I wish it was. I wish the first time it was done correctly.
Honesty, Carter once said, I'll never lie to you. Would you say that, the American people?
I would never lie.
When I'm president, I'm a different person. I can do anything. I can be the most politically correct person that you've ever seen. I can be the most politically correct person in the world. And I can be the opposite.
The president has to be a great leader, and you have to lead by example.
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
Like to punch him in the face.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay?
I don't know what I said. This guy will say anything.
Certain that Donald Trump has ever read outside of his own is the book of Hitler's speeches he kept next to his bed in the 1990s, according to his ex-wife. His ex-wife, he was very pissed when she released that information, okay? Because at that time he was still liberal. He didn't want people to know it at that time. So somehow she fell down the stairs and cracked her head open, right? All right, so we're going to get into this, and I'm going to show you this, all right? 92-year-old C-SPAN caller said he met Trump's father, a fan of Hitler and dictators. During C-SPAN's Washington Journal call-in segment, Pete, who identified himself as a 92-year-old from West Palm Beach, Florida, said Trump's father, Fred Trump, visited his village and was a fan of Hitler and dictators. Pete implied Trump got his views of dictators from his father. Now, keep in mind that Donald Trump was a libtard his entire life. Children are often heavily influenced by the views of their parents. Trump's father and Trump were sued for racial discrimination in housing, and Fred was once arrested at a Ku Klux Klan rally for failing to disperse. The 1927 article reporting the arrest doesn't make it clear Fred Trump's status or association with the Klan. Don't his actual loyalties to the brewing years of World War II, if they happen to live in the greater New York City region. New York and its suburbs in Long Island and New New Jersey had a vibrant community of first and second generation German Americans, the latter having included Fred Trump Sr., a rising star in real estate and retailing. Also active in New York, New Jersey region was the German American Bund, or Amerika-Deutscher Bund, an organization that supported Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party and the goals and aspirations of the new Germany. The Bund had been created in May 1933 on the orders of German Deputy Führer Rudolf Hess. The first Bund leader was German immigrant Heinrich Heinz Spacknobel, who initially called his group the Friends of New Germany. In fact, the Bund was nothing more than an overseas extension of the German Nazi Party, and it took its orders directly from Berlin, outside of the town in Windham, on American soil, no less, right? The height of the Bund's activities was a February 20, 1930 rally at New York City's Madison Square Garden. This is the rally that I'm talking about right here, okay? This is the rally that Enlightened Master is telling you that Donald Trump's father was in, okay? Sir Norman Vincent Peale was Donald Trump's 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason pastor. This is the seal of the 33rd degree. It's also the family crest of Donald J. Trump. Okay, Albert Pike, who is the most famous Scottish Rite Freemason of all time, was the head of the Knights of the Golden Order, who later changed their name to the Ku Klux Klan. I'm going to provide it. Okay. I'm not going to be nasty to people. I'm just going to provide the information. All right, that's what I'm going to do. The elder Trump was publicly, he was even sued for it, publicly known to be a racist, and he refused to rent his apartments in Queens and Brooklyn to African Americans. Wow, that must be a coincidence. In 1927, there were few organizations for far-right extremists like Fred Trump to join. One was the KKK, which had its roots in the post-Civil War Reconstruction South. Another was Italian lender Benito Mussolini's overseas Fascisti, which was primarily composed of Italian immigrants to the United States. By the early 1930s, far-right wingers in the American North were fast to embrace the Nazis, and Kuhn's Bund was able to ready to answer the call and begin recruiting in its ranks. Fred Trump's FBI file, which includes the 1927 arrest at the KKK march, appears to be missing his pre-war and immediate post-war year activities. The file does not resume until the 1960s, when the FBI began monitoring the elder Trump's association with mafia syndicates in New York. Brother, remember I told you and I've showed you unequivocally that his brother had everything to do with the murder of, and the torture of Nikola Tesla. In New York, old man Trump also suspiciously volunteered after dodging World War II draft to construct Navy barracks and garden apartments in at least 3 highly sensitive Navy ports in Chester, Pennsylvania, and Norfolk and Newport News, Virginia. Yeah, that's right. He was a draft dodger, to all you Trump dodgers out there. All 3 ports saw thousands of Americans and Canadian troops embarked for combat in North Africa and Europe. Some of these ships fell prey to German U-boats, which received intelligence on the Allied ship movements from Nazi agents in the very same port areas where old man Trump so generously bid on construction contracts with the Navy. Right here, with the Navy. Let me repeat his treason again, okay? All 3 ports saw thousands of American and Canadian troops embarked for combat in North Africa and Europe. Some of these troop ships fell prey to German U-boats. In other words, Americans got killed because of Donald Trump's father, which received intelligence on the Allied ship movements from Nazi agents in the very same port areas where old man Trump so generously bid on construction contracts with the Navy.
I suppose old man Trump knows just how much racial hate he stirred up in the blood parts of the folks in New York State. He drawed that colored line that we fought in the last war, and we ain't got no home in this world It looks like heaven where no black folks come to roam. No, 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 oh, that Trump. Beach Haven ain't my home. No.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit